And just like that, WWDC is officially wrapped up. That is it for WWDC. What's going on, everybody? Michael here. I want to just start by saying that this is actually a follow-up live stream. I'm not going to be on here for too long. I'm going to recap everything that happened on WWDC. I am going to be working on a better video. I'll be filming it, editing it properly with more details. But I just finished watching the WWDC live stream on my Twitter account. I want to thank Rob for coming on and people that watched. I want to thank all of you for taking the time out. Let's switch over the speakers so you don't have to hear the music. So I want to thank each and every one of you for watching me. This live stream was awesome. So without further ado, let's take a look at exactly what happened today at WWDC. So for starters, the software was the main priority of the show. We're going to start it up with iPhone. Of course, iOS 13 is still on their page. They didn't update it yet to iOS 14, but a lot of things happened. I'm going to pull it up here as best as I can. So let's take a look at everything that we've taken a look at. The keynote is over. So by the time you guys are seeing this, the unveiling of the ceremony, everything is over. But yeah, what a day this was. So we had iOS 14, we had iPadOS 14, tvOS, all the good roundups, and it was awesome. A lot of people were actually very, very shocked at all the changes and stuff. For me, I think it's very needed that Apple definitely did this. It's a no surprise. I'm very happy that they were able to get these changes going. Normally people, they say Android users will make fun and stuff, but for me, I'm not gonna make fun of them. The Apple users got the features they need. So everybody's joining in. I'm gonna recap it. So starting with iOS 14. Now again, SMT, thank you for coming on. Jay Brown, I sent the link out to the group chat for those people that want to come on. So if anybody wants to come and talk their opinion, more than welcome to come on if you want to. But taking a look at everything that was unveiled, for starters, they have finally given us the first feature that everybody's wanted on iOS 14, redesigned home screen. Now, it's not exactly redesigned as you think. Instead, it will feature widgets, so you could finally put different kind of images, so you can now do kind of what Android does. That's going to be the key for everything. But they also have an app library. You can now access your home screen. You can now customize it in better ways that you wanted. And on top of that, with tvOS, with iOS, I swear, guys, this has been a long day doing back-to-back live streams. In iOS 14, the widgets on the home screen can be carried over. Now, the next thing they talked about was the guides and map, where they've updated the map. So now you have newer features like cycling and things like that. iMessage also got a big update. You can now pin people at the top. You can also change up the group chat, trying to push the Memoji, but I still never believe in Memoji. That's just me. And on top of all that, Siri's UI has gotten an all-new revamp. Now, it's very similar to what the Apple Siri looks like, basically in like all those rumored pictures. But this is basically what it's going to look like. It's going to be a nice motion. It's very similar to Google Assistant, the animation pop-up. But I think it's very nice that they're trying to keep Siri going. They got the translations in there that I reported on. And the best part of all about this whole new Siri update is it goes across the board to everything, which we will discuss after. Then the app clips, which is the newest thing that they're claiming, is now you can see apps that you can pop up and pay. You no longer have to worry about going. So for example, here's the image. So if you see a QR code that you could scan with your iPhone, you could pop it up and it will pop up here. And of course, they are working to make it very minimal as possible. That is the new Siri update. The Verge kind of did this very well. I like that. The translations are here as well. In iOS 14, you can now unlock your car with the iPhone that I talked about. It won't just be for BMWs. They will be also for other cars with industry standards included. The next thing on iOS 14, before I end this off and then move over to iPadOS, as you can see, the new home screen is right here. The next thing that they did was finally doing something that I had been asking for, something that I just personally really wanted in group chats. The group chat features I've been waiting for that you can now respond to certain people. You don't have to put it in. It can now be message tie-ins. So that's very, very nice. And Bob, I want to shout out Bob. Thank you for coming on my live stream on Twitter. Bob, you're the GOAT. Thank you for coming on. iPhone OS is now Android. Well, it's getting very closer now. Now Apple's finally opening up, but it's still a little limited. But I still think I prefer Android. I'm just saying, I still like, still looks fine to me. That's it for iOS 14. A lot more opening than I thought. There were some things they did not mention that I will mention for you guys in here. Now let's take a look at iPadOS. iPadOS 14 is another one. Now this one was very, very minimal, but thankfully it does feature, hey, what's going on everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you taking your time out. With iPadOS 14, this is a feature that will also be featured over to iOS 14. With iPadOS, you can now set email and browser apps as default. You can choose what you want. That was something that I had claimed, and I really think that this is a good step up because now Apple is opening the platform to third party, making them default. This also works for music extensions as well, which we will get to after. But iPadOS has gotten a nice revamp. They will not only be working on the Apple Pencil, giving it more support, but they will also be introducing more Mac-like features so you feel you have a desktop. I see everybody's commenting away in the live chat. I will get to your comments, I promise. They also have newer Siri to speak, on-device speech, so you have better pickup when you talk. The iPad has a new search bar, so you can now search easier, and it will also not take up the screen. Your FaceTime calls, everything is transitioning easier, which is very, very nice. The compact Siri UI will be at the corner of the iPad. I don't think The Verge put it up. Damn it, Verge. But it is in the corner of the screen. They will also have a new ARKit 4. They basically were using the iPad because the iPad was more of a powerful device to use at that display. The widgets are also coming. You now have the pinned conversations. So basically iOS and iPadOS, basically everything comes together except for the iPad. They're going to make it more, stand out on its own. One of them being the compact UI. So I really appreciate that the iPad kind of really is getting its new standalone because this is the first full update since it was announced. So Tech Central says they need to innovate more. The ARM is the only innovation. Yes, I agree. We will get to the ARM-based chipsets. We will discuss that towards the end. I'm trying to give this like a quick summary so I can get you guys in and out. That's it for the iPadOS and iOS. Now let's move over to watchOS. watchOS 7, to me, is really something that everybody has been asking for. This gives you everything that Apple users have been wanting. Sleep tracking, hands and face washing timers because of COVID, and also basically giving you newer health tracking monitors like dancing when you do certain moves. It also takes a full advantage of your body's movement. I like the fact that watchOS 7 is a lot more health friendly in terms of its projection, meaning that you can now sense a movement you're doing by also using the technology in the watch. I think watchOS 7 has kind of sealed the cake for the best OS platform for a watch. I think it's sealed. watchOS 7 is perfect, in my opinion, and now the sleep monitor feature, it is very nice. Now, again, this is only the quick version I'm giving you guys. I will be making a full episode of Technoid that will break down every OS and the things that I did not mention in this video. So this is just, again, like I said, a quick summary, a recap everything that happened. Now let's move it over to tvOS. Now, again, I will discuss why there was no hardware at the event, something I talked about yesterday. But tvOS now includes picture-in-picture mode. It will have easier profile switching. You can also basically take advantage of audio sharing. You now have camera feeds on tvOS, doorbell announcements, photo apps with AirPlay can support 4K HDR, and it has new controller support, now adding the Xbox. PlayStation was the one they had the most. But there was something that they forgot to mention that's right here in the corner for the HomePod. Now, for those of you that don't know, the HomePod runs tvOS software, so that's why they put it in here. But the HomePod will now support third-party music services. That also goes in line with the default service. Now you can change the service from Apple Music to Spotify or anything that you feel needs. So I'm happy that, again, Apple is opening up the platform, and this is something they needed to do. I wish they had opened up the HomePod, period, to all people with Bluetooth, but keeping it in the Apple ecosystem is a choice they have to make. But I really do like that you can now use more music choices should you have not Apple Music. So that's a very good thing, and I really appreciate it. Now, guys, if you have any questions or anything you want to know, write them down in the live chat. I will get to them as soon as I finish up the roundup. Then they talked about privacy. Privacy is key. I'm going to make that a feature in the video, so I'm going to skip over that. But just know they took a step up with the security features. And the last thing, the main important one, Mac OS. And that name is really hilarious as all hell. Me and Bob were having such a laugh. Mac OS, Big Sur. Big Sur. Are you kidding me? Big Sur. So this is 10.16, the newest version of Mac OS. However, we will get to the ARM-based CPUs, and we will discuss what that's a big deal. But 10.6 is redesigning the Mac to make it look very similar to your iPads and everything. But the cool thing I want to mention with Mac OS is that they are bringing back three-dimensional apps. So now we are getting a redesign that is nice. I am actually very interested. I'm happy about that. Slimmer Verk, yes, there was no new hardware. I will explain why they didn't debut any hardware. I will explain it if you stay through the video. Seabass. What's up, Seabass? Seabass, that's what they got to do. They got to play catch-up. They have to play catch-up. But the Mac itself is very nice. They're getting a redesign, basically giving the Mac a nice resurgence, making Safari a lot faster, basically making it more of what it should be. But the main selling point, the main thing that made everybody go crazy and why everybody's talking about it is the brand new Mac switching over to ARM-based processors. From now, starting now, and it will be a 2-year transition, Apple is going to be switching its Mac processors to their new silicone-based ARM Macs. So this means that your Mac is going to be more customizable with Apple's ARM-based chipsets. There will be more locked in with their software and hardware optimization. We can also hope for better gaming performance because their tablets and phones have good gaming performance for mobile operating system. And their ARM base will also be working to power the Macs in the future. Now, this is going to take a true 2 years to catch up. They will also implement this ARM-based CPU in, I believe, the end of this year. They claim they will be shipping out Macs with ARM-based, so we will hopefully see some hardware in the September and October event. And I do got to say, the ARM-based Mac, to me, is a very, very big step up. Now you truly have your OS and everything all together. You're now no longer relying on Intel. You're not relying on anybody. You can now use the CPUs and software to maximize your performance, battery optimization, everything. Now, Simmer asked the question. He said there is no hardware. The truth is, the reason why there was no hardware is simple. People right now are not in a time to buy anything with Apple. This really wasn't the event to do it either. This is WWDC. I said it in my other live stream previously. I am guilty of spreading the hardware hype, so I will try not to do that in the future. But the truth is, this is mostly for developers to start working on software. And they were going to do some hardware. They were going to announce a few. But the problem was that we're in a time where people just really, it's not the right time to start asking people to buy stuff. And considering that the whole core of WWDC is software, it made sense for them to take it down. But I can understand if you were upset or a little frustrated. And honestly, I wasn't mad. I was happy that they didn't do any hardware. So we have to wait a little bit. Who cares? At least we can get our lives back together. I feel there are more important things than trying to buy a new Apple product or something like that. So if you're disappointed that there was no hardware debuted, then I think you missed the point of WWDC. It's not all about the hardware. I'm just saying. But yeah, that's the quick summary of WWDC. So final thoughts, and then I'm going to end it here. I wanted somebody to come on, but they couldn't make it in time. I apologize if you wanted to come on. But honestly, this was a nice event for Apple. It definitely has a nice up to their software. I think they should have addressed the bug issue. They really kind of sugarcoated it. They didn't talk about it. I kind of wish they had addressed that. And mostly, I had just wished that they did a little bit more. You know, you can't get much with Apple, but they're still way behind. Even though their Siri features are up there, even though iOS does have a little bit nicer OS, smoothness to it, there are still some features missing. And I don't understand why they're missing out on this and they continue to do it. Maybe their technology's not up to it, but still, there's no excuse. Just because you made 2 steps forward today doesn't mean you're going to make 5 steps forward later. Because don't forget, Android 11 is coming out in a month or two, and they're going to take 5 more steps ahead of you. So I just wish Apple would stop holding off on some features. I'm glad they're giving features, but it's not enough for me to say that they could finally be toe-to-toe with Android. They're still behind, but again, I'm not going to complain a lot about Apple because I do like a lot of what they announced today. Most notably, something I forgot to mention, the AirPods. If you have AirPods, they now have spatial awareness, so it gives you like kind of using your brain and hearing. It's a nice audio trick. And also, if you use them on iOS devices, they seamlessly transition. So if you're watching a movie on your computer, it'll switch over without you having to switch. If you have an iPad and making a call, it'll switch right over. So those are the little things I like, but they still need to add more features. And I really kind of hate that you got to keep waiting and waiting when they could just do it. Maybe they don't want to. I don't know their exact reasoning, but as an event on its own, I think that this, to me, was probably the most open that we've seen Apple. They will still add more features in beta versions, absolutely. But when I'm talking more features, meaning things that Android have had for years that they still don't have. I'll do it all in my episode that will come out tomorrow. I'm going to film it today, spend some time to make it look nice, and also present to you guys everything. But that is my reaction to WWDC. I honestly think it was an all right event. It had a lot of good moments. I definitely felt very compelled to kind of switch back to the iPhone, but I'm still going to rock my Galaxy. So that's it. I will make my video tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in, watching on the live stream. You want to fight Tim Apple? Tell me after the live stream, the SMT. Take care, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow with a full episode. Thank you for watching, and peace.